dear dear noble community. Thank you for coming today. We'd like to invite us all to start with a little bit of meditation, coming back to our breathing and relaxing the body and mind. That will be very good for us too. So we'd like to invite you to listen to 3 sounds of the bell and find a stable posture for your body, where your back can be upright. Some of your weight can be supported on your knees, or if you're sitting in a chair, you can put your feet flat and let your shoulders relax. And you can close your eyes if you like. And I will guide us through a little bit of meditation, just following the breath, enjoying the breath and being together. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I follow my out breath all the way through. In breath, out breath. Putting my whole attention on my in-breath, I breathe in. Putting my whole attention on my out-breath, I breathe out. In, out. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body breathing. Breathing out, I smile to my body. In, body, out, smiling. Breathing in, I enjoy my in-breath. Breathing out, I appreciate the miracle of being alive right here. In, enjoying, out, miracle of life. Breathing in, I am aware the whole Sangha is here, breathing together. Breathing out, I know I don't have anything to do except be here with the Sangha. In, Sangha, out, nowhere to go. open your eyes and look around at the Sangha. They say that gratitude is the easiest positive mental formation to generate. I think being grateful for a community is the easiest kind of gratitude there is. So you see that we're all here together just to sit here. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. We don't really have anything to do except be here with each other for a little while. And it's already very pleasant. And we all make that possible for each other to come here. It would be kind of boring if just one of us showed up for the Dharma talk. You just sit there. You have to give the Dharma talk to yourself. And so there's a lot of wonderful conditions. And also a lot of you are coming from your home to be with us today. A lot of you are staying with us for a little while. And a lot of us live here all the time, which is also takes a commitment to come out, be here for the Dharma talk. Usually I'm sitting behind that camera there, so it's my turn to stare into the camera. I'm also very happy because I get to sit here with Sister Tangyam, Sister Rising Sun, and it's her turn to give the Dharma talk today. But she said that she would like to have some support, so I volunteered this morning. And I think she has a lot of experience with the practice and living in community, building community, brotherhood and sisterhood. We talked briefly this morning about what we would share about, and we know that we have our summer retreat is starting tomorrow on Monday. So we need to give like a pep talk of some kind, a little bit, to create the energy for that, and also to share a little bit some of our experience, maybe about other summer retreats that we have been in, and whatever else happens to come up. It's a little bit of a spontaneous Dharma talk, which is the best kind, no plan. So with that, I think I will stop and let her share a little bit. It's okay? I'm Brother Fulfillment. Hi, thank you.
Good morning, dear Thai teacher, dear Sangha. In the early guided meditation that we just had, Brother Fatmang mentioned about miracle of life. And sitting here at this moment, I see that miracle of life for me is to have a brother, Julie. This morning I found out it's my turn to give the Dharma talks today. And it's quite surprised for me. Because when we have Brother Phaptin here, he organized the list of who's giving Dharma talk for Sunday. And he kept reminding us every day, tomorrow's your Dharma talk, or next week your Dharma talk. And he just go around, and whenever he sees us, he told us the day of our Dharma talk. And this time he's in Vietnam, so I was aware at all of today's Dharma talk. And Brother Drew Antinous came to me and said, "Is your Dharma talk today?" And I said, "Oh no." And I didn't know where to go. So I said that I just bowed to Thai inside of me and said, "I'm going to request Thai's Dharma talk today." And Brother Phapkom said, "Okay." And then I came to Brother Phapmang, because not just only work coordinator of the Brothers Hamlet, the Cliff Monastery together with Sister Jin. But he's also everywhere, taking care of everything around the monastery. And I came to him because he was preparing sound system or something. And I said, Brother Famang, I have to request his Dharma talk today because I'm not ready at all. I just found out that I give Dharma talk today. And he said, that's okay. But his lately Dharma talks, especially for the 21 days retreat in Plum village. And we have a full schedule of watching and listening to him after summer opening here. So he's thinking of the Dharma talk, and I say, why don't you just go up there and just give a Dharma talk that you don't have to prepare anything. And I say, yes, okay, I can do that, but come up here with me. And he said, yes. I'm so grateful. And thank you, Brother Famang, again. And not just only Brother Famang, living in the community, I have many brothers and sisters always there for me. And it's a true happiness. And Brother Famang suggested us to talk about summer opening, or retreat in Plum village. Summer for me is a very special season. In Vietnam, it is a season of green, just like here. Everything is so green. And I remember that there's a line in his poem. He said that summer is hidden behind the layers of green leaves. And he has many other lines of poems for other seasons that I love a lot. Whenever I just remember that lines of the poem, I feel really relaxed and really come back to the present moment and enjoy the season that are available in front of me. Everything is so green, and for me it's just early summer at this time because I still see a lot of flowers start to blooming. Before we have calendar, our ancestors they didn't say like May or June or July as summer, but they call, when they felt the wind, this is early summer or budding summer. And then a little bit later they call a flourishing summer. And in Vietnam, as summer, this is a season for students to really enjoy their time with their family, no school. And for us, it was a time a little bit sad for us because it was a time to say goodbye to our friends in school. And it was so hard for us to say goodbye to friends that we've been for months. We see each other day by day, play with each other, study with each other, and it's just 3 months. It was really long of not having seen that face that we loved every day. And the very last day of school before summer, it's so hard to say goodbye, and there's so many songs and poems that author or composer wrote about that day in Vietnam. And cicada, is that the name? It's everywhere, every corner of school and street, and also the color of flamboyant flower, so red. And then their song say that the sound or the voice of cicada is so sad, like the sadness in our heart to say goodbye to friends. And then the red, the color of that flower is the color of the blood in our heart of missing friend in school. So quite strong kind of songs and poems for summer. Summer for me, I really like it because it's also time for us to go back to the countryside. Many of us went to school in city, and when it's summer, many of us went back to the countryside to stay with perhaps our relative, our grandfather, grandmothers, or even our friends if it's available and allowable. We went to the countryside and it's very quiet. It's not like the sound of school day, but just enjoy nature, enjoy the countryside. And when it close to September, it's again a sadness of saying goodbye to the countryside to go back to the city. But when we stay at that moment and enjoy the season, enjoy the countryside, it's so wonderful because it's so quiet. And it's time for us to come back and also enjoy the silence, enjoy ourselves. For me, I enjoy myself wander or playing in the garden. Not just only the green of trees and leaves, but also the fruit in the garden. And I also remember myself, I found myself many times wonder about the color of the leaves, the color of that red pomegranate flower at June. So red, so green, that I wonder where the color comes from. And it's just still a wonder for me. Not until lately, I just found out a little hint. Last month on full moon night, all the sisters in my room, they went to bed already. I stayed up a little bit late, and then I turned off the light to go to bed. And I did turn off the light, but the room was still so bright. The moon outside the window. So I didn't go to bed. I opened the door. I went out to look at the moon. And then I just walked around a little bit. And I stopped at the garden in front of our nunnery. And I see the color of the flower under the moonlight and the starlight. So I invite you to stop and see the color of the flower in front of your house in the garden under the moonlight or the starlight. It's so different color with daylight when the sun appears. So for me the sun is quite interesting, amazing artist. So I found out that the color depends pretty much into the sun. And the sun is everywhere. I'm so grateful. Even the color of the flower in front of me. At night, no sunlight, starlight or moonlight, different color. And the moment that I have that awareness or mindfulness of seeing the color of the flower or color of even my body, it's different color with the daylight when I see it. I also remember myself wonder about the colors of my brother's eyes. So green. When I came to the West, America, and I have friends whose eyes are so lovely, beautiful. They're green and so deep, ocean blue. And I just look at their eyes. Sometimes they say hello. It's just quite a wonder for me. Where's the color come from? And I said, maybe because they live close to the beach. So that's why their eyes so blue, or because around the house there's a lot of tall green trees. That's why their eyes are so green. The sun also. So that night was a very special night for me. When I walk out of the room and see the color of the flower under the moonlight. And summer, there's a lot of rain. And in Vietnam, we have a summer retreat for monastic, 3 months. So the monks and the nuns stay in their monastery. They don't come out and give Dharma talk or retreat around the country or cities, but they just stay at one place because there's a lot of rain. And also the season is very calm, so they stay inside, they practice, they do a lot of meditation and study in sutra and observe their practice and the fruit of their practice with the shining light of the community of their brother and sister. But here in our tradition, we don't have summer retreat for 3 months, but we have 3 months winter retreat. Because you know why? Because we have summer opening, which is coming tomorrow for Blue Cliff Monastery. And you know, it's also a retreat, but this is very different kind of retreat because we have so many children. And how you will see their laughter, their joy running around. So we change our mind and we have a winter retreat for 3 months, not summer. Because everywhere around you will see tomorrow children coming, running, playing, and parents and teenagers. We have many people coming tomorrow. It's going to be a quite big family tomorrow. And I'm so grateful for the organizer of the summer retreat, the brother and the sister, our long-term and stay-in friends and intern, and also our friends who come early to help us to prepare. And yesterday or the day before, we worked together a little bit with the guidance of our work coordinator here. He gave us a very calm introduce about working and encourage us to play, know where to go, nothing to do when we work together, enjoy our time together. And I really enjoy working together with the community, not in that rush or hurry, but slowly we enjoy the sun, summer sun. Not that so hot yet because it's still early summer for me. And I remember that summer opening in Plum village when I was there was huge for me. At that time, we didn't have a lot of brothers and sisters who monastic from Vietnam, so just not too many of us in Plum village for each hamlet. And summer retreat is all the hamlets together. Sometimes it's close to 1,000 people, so about 300 or some for each hamlet. And I remember that at that time that just only 2 sisters cook. And lucky we have 1 lay friend we call staff to help us to cook. And I was a novice at that time cooking together with an older sister, and we kind of swimming in the kitchen, just cooking and big pot. And I remember I just had like 10 minutes for nap after lunch and run, right back to the kitchen and start to cook and prepare for dinner. But we managed. We managed that and also everything, because sometimes if that hamlet, like I was stay in newer hamlet, and that day, if newer hamlet host the day of mindfulness there, meaning that Thai and the monastic from all the 3 hamlets and all the lay friends together, like 1,000 or more, come to newer hamlet. There's a lot of things need to take care. The sister of that hamlet just really running. So the practice is slowing down, mindful walking and breathing, but sometimes you don't see that in us because we really kind of fast walking and all that. And before summer opening, usually Thai wrote a letter to us, monastics, for all the hamlet, to say his love, to prepare us for summer opening. A lot of people come, a lot of friends coming, And he reminds us of our bodhicitta, our beginning mind, of practicing, of service, of sharing the practice with all of our friends. And it's very wonderful to receive his letter or his guidance before summer opening. So many people, and he encouraged us to go back to the practice. He said the best gift that we can offer to our retreatants or our friends, our practice. So before summer opening, usually he reminds us to really go back and anchor ourselves in our step and breathe and our breath. So we really practice slow walking and take time to enjoy the silence, enjoy noble silence, so that we can really take a good care of our step and our breath. Because with that energy of many people like that, but still, he taught us that we still can keep our freshness, our solidity, and our smile by coming back to our step when we walk, and our breath together with our step. And with that encouragement, teaching, and awareness of the whole community, we managed easily summer retreat in Plum Village, even though we didn't have so many brothers and sisters. And not just only the monastics, but the lay friends. Usually they give orientation at that time, when I was still in Plum Village, for lay friends, and how he emphasized very deeply and strongly about the practice of mindful walking and breathing. Because not just only the monastic, but lay friends also, we need that practice. Some people say, I'm going to do summer retreat, I'm going to a retreat. But they found it was too much for them to go to the retreat, because there's so many people compared with their home, it's more quieter. So they taught all of us to not to have so many socializing, and very practice and enjoy the practice of noble silence. Thousands of people, even in tour, when they do tour in the US, sometimes and when we have retreat here or in other center, thousands of people. But when it's time for noble silence, where's everybody? We're so quiet. And I really appreciate that spirit of the practice of people who come to the retreat and of the community. It's really, I felt like it's an organism practicing at that time. And when we do walking meditation in silence, no talking, it's a moving of an organism. And it's really powerful. And even children, I'm very grateful for brothers and sisters and supporters of lay friends, support us for children program or teen or adult, young adult. They all practice together, and we do invite children to do walking meditation with us, all in silence, with hundreds or thousands of people. And it's very healing, because at that time we are allowed to go back to take care of ourselves. Here, we will walk around the forest trail and around our hamlet. I really enjoy walking meditation too. In Vietnam, at summertime, there's a lot of rain, and we don't have cemented road or pathways like here, so a lot of mud. Just like in PV in the early day. When I was in PV, mud all on our shoes. And sometimes he sat on the stage for the Dharma talk and mud on his robe. And sometimes he put down the microphone and he did this to get off the mud from his robe. But I enjoy walking in the mud to feel the earth. So sometimes we walk barefoot. It's not that cold as summer, so everything with water, lake, stream, rain, so wonderful. And I enjoy walking on the road that's not cemented. Here we have cemented road, but it doesn't mean that doesn't mean it prevents us to remember or aware of the soil, the earth, the mud under us. And when we practice, we keep our mind calm. And the smile of knowing that we are calm, we are aware of the wonder of life, aware of summer. That is so beautiful. Beautiful as a lotus blooming in the midst of summer. Brother Paman, tell us about your summer.
Dear Thai, dear community, thank you, Sister Tangniam, for sharing with us all the beautiful images of summer, and a little bit about summertime in Plum Village too. It's like taking a journey. I just close my eyes a lot and enjoy going back. Traveling to Vietnam, I never got to go to Vietnam, so it's nice to hear. Try to imagine. I think she's talking about the joy of having eyes, being able to see a little bit. Thai likes to talk about the eyes let us perceive the 10,000 different forms and colors all around us. I like when he talks about that. And it's nice to we have the orchid here to remind us of the beauty, the flowers. And it's nice to think of our teacher too. I can see him in the orchid because he loves orchids so much. And we always have an orchid here to remember, to help us remember Thai. I wrote down a bunch of things on this piece of paper to share about. And we'll see what happens. Before I go much further, I wanted to share some gratitude for the Sangha, for you out there. I can see a lot of the faces that I have seen over the years, and here at Blue Cliff, I can see my mom in the back row. She's here for the last 2 months, I think. A month and a half. I don't know how long. The summer has a habit of going by quickly. Did you notice that? Okay. days can be very long, but they go by. There's so much happening in one day during the summer. And it's easy for the summer to go by quickly. It's nice. I like to look outside and seeing the green leaves on the trees. I paid a lot of attention this spring when the leaves were coming out to see how long all the steps and the little buds come out. Even before it starts to get warm, it's still very cold, they start to come out and then they open up slowly. It takes a couple weeks for the leaves to open up all the way. And now when we look, we take it for granted. It seems like the leaves will always be there. But we know in a few months they will fall off. Go back to get ready for the winter again. There's a lot of other faces in the audience that I see. Like I see the Lamb. Some of the Lamb family is here. The Lamb boys. They come every Sunday to the monastery, and it brings a lot of happiness. There's the young boys always playing, and often playing with Brother Bode over there. We have a lot of fun together. And it also makes me remember my time as a novice and playing with the children that come for the summer retreat. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes I have some regret, and I say, oh, I should spend more time playing with the children who come to the monastery. I'm too busy. So it's good. I see that's a good reminder for me to take some time this summer retreat to be with the little guys, little kids. And I also see some of our two aspirants are in the audience. There's Dave over there. Make him raise his hand. He's shy. He's wearing a gray robe. And Sister Kara is over there too. And I feel like that also brings me a lot of happiness to see our community has enough space to welcome people to train in monastic life. And that's very challenging. I know that's not an easy path. There's a lot of... it's both very wonderful and very challenging at the same time. To have to learn a lot of new things and let go of our old way of doing things and getting a lot of advice about how to do stuff, a lot of instruction, rules, and things like that. But they bring a lot of happiness to the community here. The first summer retreat that I went to was with my mom, in fact, in 2006. She's checking to make sure I get it right. She has the memory. She remembers all the dates and the names of all the people and everything that happened. I can't remember the names of people, even people I live with sometimes. So it's okay. It's good. She has that memory for me. I took my mom to Plum Village for the summer retreat because I had come up with the idea that I wanted to be a monk. And I wanted her to have a chance to know what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. I thought it would be a wise thing to do to get some support. And she's very open, so it also helped that it's in France, and she loves France. So I said, oh, you would like to go to France with me, and we'll visit Plum Village. And it's very nice. And I agreed to take her around to some of the different countries to go sightseeing in Europe before going to Plum Village. I really didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go directly to Plum Village. I felt very tired. I had put a lot of tension, stress on my body to get somewhere, to get over there to Plum Village so I could finally relax. It's not exactly the right practice. But that's what happened. And so it was difficult for me to travel around Europe and visit Ireland and Spain and Paris, I think. And I remember arriving in Plum Village, and then I sat, there's 4 pine trees, like I think we have 4 pine trees planted out in front of the meditation hall. I don't know if Thai planted those trees or not, but he planted 4 pine trees in the upper hamlet of Plum Village, and they're very special to him. I think he planted them when we first got that property in Upper Hamlet, and one summer he gave the Dharma Talks outside under the 4 pine trees. I don't know the significance of that, but when I got to Plum Village, I could feel the peaceful energy under those trees. And I had a big backpack, all my stuff that I owned that I thought I would need at Plum Village. Wasn't too much, but I've been carrying it all over Europe, and my back was very sore. And I put down my backpack. I just went directly to those pine trees. I put down my backpack, and I sat down in a chair. And I think then I said the gatha that we practice, which is, I have arrived. But I felt so much relief, like I put down 1,000 pounds of worries and anxiety, fear. My mom was staying in Lower Hamlet, so I didn't have to worry about her at all either. So I worried about her. Is she okay? And I think because she had a very open mind, like a beginner's mind, she didn't know anything about the practice of mindfulness or breathing, or no expectation about what's going to happen. Then she enjoyed that retreat so much for 2 weeks. Is that true, Mom? Yeah, I think so. Whenever I saw her, she's very happy, because we had the day of mindfulness Thursday and Sunday. And I thought, wow, how is she so happy, but I still feel a lot of tension in it? And that's partly because I wanted so much to ordain, to become a monk. And it took me time to let go of holding on to that so tightly. And it was a good summer retreat for me too. I ended up staying for all 4 weeks, and Mom went back after 2 weeks. But after the second week, I kind of relaxed a little bit, and then suddenly, because the tension was going out of my body, my back, it kind of gave out. All the tension and stress I've been carrying around for many years, it's kind of accumulated, and then just stopped working. So I ended up lying under a small bush. It's the butterfly bush, you know that bush? There's a purple flower. It smells like bubble gum a little bit to me. I love it. It's very special to me because I hurt my back. I ended up lying under that bush for about 3 or 4 days. I didn't move, but it's very pleasant. It's not too hot. It's not, it's warm, but it's not cold at night. And I had someone brought me like some cushions, some mats to lie on, and then someone would bring me food, like the Sangha, people would walk by. It was kind of nearby a path. At that time, I didn't know, the fine manner that you're not supposed to lie down by where people walk by. But I didn't really have a choice anyway. My back stopped working, so I lay down right there. It's a very nice practice of taking refuge in the Sangha because the Sangha just took care of me. People bring me food, water, ask if I'm okay. People came by, they said, oh, would you like me to do some acupuncture on you? Okay, it's nice. Would you like me to do some foot massage, like reflex, And I said, okay, that was very painful. Wow. I didn't know that you have so many nerves in your feet, but it helped my body relax even more. And it was kind of a miracle. My body started to heal slowly. And I think the next summer, then I was ordained. The next summer I was a novice. And I got to be in the teens program, I think, my very first summer retreat. And it was pretty challenging. The teenagers have different ideas about how to do things. But it was also a lot of fun. And they practice in a very natural way. So I think I did, after that I did 3 or 4 teens programs. And that was my training for the summer retreat to work with the teens. Maybe we should hear one sound of the bell. I want to give Sister Tangni another chance to share, but I thought before I do that, I want to say one poem. I think that Dharma Talks are better if you put some poems in there, possibly. I wrote down a bunch of stuff on this list, but the only thing I see on there that I like right at the moment is it's this poem. So I like to try to remember a poem, share it with you. It's about touching gratitude, I think, and our capacity to offer. I know for myself, in the last months, being the work coordinator, Sister Tangni was very kind to water some of my flowers for working, but I do find it fairly, sometimes a little bit stressful, and I feel I get too busy doing things, and and I don't feel like I have enough to give, enough space to give more, and I think it's a kind of perception that might not be totally correct. So this is the poem. I don't know who it's by. I forgot now. It's in a book called Love Poems from God. It's a translation, anthology by Daniel Lidinsky. It's a very nice book if you'd like to get it. Love Poems from God. It's a collection, Eastern and Western poets, 12 different poets, people like St. John of the Cross and St. Catherine, Rumi, and Hafiz, as well as some lesser known people. So it's very short. Let's try. Even after all this time, the moon never, even after all this time, the sun never says to the moon, "You owe me." Look what a love like that can do. It lights the whole world. So that's, I think Sister Tangnim was talking about the generosity of she was talking about the sun a little bit, how it lights everything up, and it's nice to touch that capacity to offer. So there's a poem about the sun always shining, never saying to the moon that it wants something back in return. So I think we can live like that also, if we like offering. And we just need some space to be able to do that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Paman. It's a beautiful poem. And I'm going to talk about the poet now. Thầy is also a poet. And he writes many poems. And he lives his life seasonally. He enjoyed to eat bamboo root, bamboo shoot, sorry, when it's season for that. He enjoyed eating plum, summer. I remember that day I went to the hermitage, and there's a bamboo, we have sister bamboo in our community, bamboo grove, and there's a hammock. And he was lying there, and he called me to come closer. And he handed me a plum. We have so many plum in Plum village, especially in Lower Hamlet. And every year we have a celebration of plum blossom, a festival we call. The flower, it's like the whole hill or land around the hamlet. So beautiful. And we invited neighbors, friends from far or near, and retreated and people, practitioners and monastics from all the hamlet to gather into Lower Hamlet to enjoy plum blossom. And sometimes we have music outside, and we have picnic, and we enjoy the presence of plum blossom and of each other's presence. Excuse me. And then he called me to come closer, and he handed me a plum. And he also held a plum in his hand. And he looked at it so long. And I did the same. And I was a novice at that time. And I used to live in Newer Hamlet. And the practice of mindful eating was striking for me. When I first came to Plum village, I entered the hallway of Newer Hamlet, and I saw a calligraphy on the wall by Thai. Said this piece of bread is the body of the whole cosmos. And when I looked up and I saw that, I stood there stunned. It's quite strong for me because I never seen that before. I never had that idea in my mind before. And then I observed the practice of mindful eating, of the 5 contemplations. And as a young novice, came to Thai's hermitage under that bamboo grove. He's lying with his plum, looking so deeply into that plum. So I sat beside him. It was that summer also. And he looked at me and he said, "Take a bite." And I embraced the practice of mindful eating at that time, and also that calligraphy in my head, the body of the whole cosmos. And now he's telling me to take a bite. I feel like something explode if I take a bite into that plum. But that moment, I still carry that moment, eating plum with Thai. And it was so calm and quiet and summer that I really hear the sound of me biting the plum. So when we calm, when we go back to the silence, we can hear something that we forget to listen to in our daily life. And every practice that introduced to us, there's a Buddhist literature or in the sutra say that a man happened to eat a little bit of diamond. That bit of diamond must pass through the body because it's incompatible with everything in this physical body. Just like the practice or the faith or planting seed with the practice will help us to get through or pass through all the affliction of conditioning. Just like in the BC, lots of people at summer hot of summer opening in Plum Village. A lot of people like that. But just that awareness of mindfulness, of mindful walking, or mindful eating, or noble silence, or walking meditation can help us really dwell at the present moment and know why we're here. Just that bit of diamond of that practice. Because when we drown our breathing, then that noise, that energy of busyness of a lot of people won't bother us at all. Just like in our daily life when we have difficulty, or that noise in the head of our strong emotion, or feelings, or perception. But if we have that practice, like that bit of diamond, we come back and just look at that diamond. We help us to calm ourselves and take time to see the root of that difficulty. I'm so grateful for allowing us to be here and to share with each other this morning. Thank you, Brother Paman.
Dear brothers and sisters, thank you, Sister Tanglian, letting me talk. I think my mind started drifting off a little bit there. I was hoping you finish the talking. It's okay. It's good practice. I hope you're not terribly bored. If you fall asleep, that's okay. It's very relaxing. I think it's very much more interesting to sit up here. You really can't fall asleep. It's not possible. Back there, I can fall asleep easily. Up here, it's okay. I thought if I have about 10 minutes, I should say something about suffering. Is that okay? Normally we try to share a little bit about happiness and suffering and their connection to each other. And we tell you a lot of stories about our experience. And I think since it's a Dharma talk, we should talk. We talked a lot about the Dharma in various ways, but it's good to do some concrete, something practical. I know we talked about walking and sitting, walking and eating a little bit. And those practices are very wonderful. We just had Taifap An, Dharma Gratitude, who came for a little over a week, and he was giving us classes on the 4 establishments of mindfulness, which is a very powerful sutra, practicing, taking care of our suffering. And he gave, even though he just had a stroke, he's giving he didn't just have a stroke, but he has had a stroke and it's difficult for him to speak and to walk. But he gave us 2 classes every day for 2 hours each class, so 4 hours. It's very strong. I was very impressed to see that. I didn't attend all of his classes. I filmed some, but I also I took some time just to lie down during that time. I was a little bit sick, which is one of the elements. It's one of the things that can make us suffer. I think it's important to recognize our suffering. And how many people here tend to suffer now and then, sometime? It's a very good question to ask, because I think that it's a fascinating discovery. I think it's very scientific. You can ask this question to anyone you meet, and they will all say yes. Unless they're trying to fool you, or they want to deny that. Sometimes they, no, I'm not suffering. But then you know they're really suffering. I'd say that sometimes too. Oh no, I'm fine. Leave me alone. This is what he likes to make fun of that. But it's important for me, because I think that the teaching and the practice is very practical. It's very realistic. It's very much something that can be observed and discovered. Should be true. Should be true for everyone. And that makes it scientific. That's what science is. Something that you watch and you look and you see and you observe, and you start to understand how it works. And Buddhism, for me, if you like, is a science of suffering, understanding suffering. And so I think there are really very important questions to ask about suffering, like, why do I suffer? Or why do other people make me suffer? It's also a very good question. Some of the most difficult kinds of suffering for us are anger. Is a very painful kind of suffering that everyone experiences. I experienced some anger yesterday. For those of you who are around me, you know that. And there's many causes for that, so we have to look. So that's part of the science of it, is asking questions like why and how. And then we have to do research. It's a research program. So that's where it really helps to not to jump right into our suffering, but to touch, first of all, to try to get into a space where we can do the research. And to do research, you don't want to be suffering too much. You want to be kind of calm and peaceful. So we shared a little bit with you about that, being calm, finding peace. We practice together. And that's the that's the first step in our practice. Just to breathe and to stop, and then to touch things like gratitude and peace and the joy of being alive. But then we do have to keep going. We can't stop there. We have to be willing to look at our suffering and do some research on that. And we shouldn't do the research in such a way that we feel outside of ourselves, like we. Sometimes you think of science, you put something under a microscope, and it's very far away. Maybe you don't really make contact with it. So this is a different way, a different approach where we really come close, and we don't have to be afraid of those feelings. But we practice, we keep our breathing, and we come close to the feeling. We let the feeling of anger be there. It's okay, it's not so bad. When there's space, it can come up. And you hold that, and you see, and you ask yourself the question, why did that make me angry? And you don't have to answer the question right away, you just look at it. Just look at the feeling, look at the experience, and you'll see all the different elements that connect together, like what you expected to happen, what you perceived the other person was doing or saying, and all those different elements, they come together to make up that experience. So that's one of our 4 establishments of mindfulness, which is looking at our mind and the feelings that come up in our mind. And there can be very wonderful feelings, gratitude, happiness. There can also be the feelings like anger, and sometimes we also have nervousness or more stronger feeling like fear. I said I was recently a little bit sick, and I had to practice with a lot of those feelings. Your body is sick. It's a very unpleasant feeling, sensation, unpleasant sensations. And it's very natural for us, that tendency, we want to somehow get away. To do something to get that feeling to go away. And so that's the first element that happened for me, looking at that feeling. And then on top of that is other layers, like my mind starts to tell all kinds of stories about why that unpleasant feeling is there. Like, that person did it to me. The doctor, she made a mistake. She was supposed to give me this medicine, it's the wrong medicine, or she was supposed to give me the medicine, but she made me take a test and said many different kinds of stories about the roots of the suffering. And Another one that came up was fear, like, is my body going to recover? So you have this kind of fear, like, uh-oh, what if it's just going to be like this? And that's very painful. And so you have anxiety, fear about that. It can make the anger grow more because you start to make it very tense. So when that was happening to me, I had to really take time to rest. That was the first thing. I remember there was a young brother in Plum Village, and we were giving a question and answer. I think he was only 15, maybe. And our mentor said we all had to come up for the question and answer because we're all part of the family. It's all practice. This is Tai Phap Do. He said, all my mentees, we come up and do the question and answer together, even though we're very young novices. And someone asked the question, what do you do when you suffer? I never forget the answer of this young man. I thought it was at the time I was like, wow, that's weird, but now I understand the wisdom. He said, the first thing I do is I go to sleep. That's very wise. A lot of our suffering is just accumulated tension from our body not having a chance to rest. So I had to rest a lot, and then I had to just breathe sometimes when I felt very angry or very fearful. And it's funny, even on top of that is one more layer, because you think, oh, I'm a monk, I'm not supposed to get that angry. So then you get frustrated with yourself, looking at yourself from the outside. So you can create so many layers of suffering on top of one unpleasant feeling in your body. Blame, resentment, fear, anger, frustration, all layered up, and all based on a kind of feeling or perception that I'm somehow separate from the doctors, separate from the other practitioners, even separate from the disease itself, the roots, the organisms. And I started to look into that, and I could see that my body is also like food. It's of the same nature. Other organic thing, like the plants and the animals, and it's of the nature to be consumed by other beings. And that's kind of scary, but also in some ways very beautiful to know that it's just a flow, energy. My body has to decompose one day and go back to the earth, and that it will be energy for other organisms. I hope so, anyway. I don't want to get burned. I mean, cremated, excuse me. So I'm going on long, but it's good. And that's also one of the practices in the 4 establishments of mindfulness in the body that we heard about this last time, which is observing the decomposition of our body. It can be very frightening, but it can also be very liberating when we just take the time to really look at that and appreciate it. And then that did help me. And then I also practice to see that as a human being, I can't control the outcome of everything. Sometimes I really like to control things. I get kind of frustrated whenever the video computer equipment is not working properly, or we can't get it set up in time. And that's a desire to control. And I can't always protect myself or prevent myself from getting sick, so I came up with a new kind of gatha. We have the 5 remembrances, which are about I'm of the nature to get old, to have ill health, to die, and to lose everything. It seems very pessimistic. It seems but it's also very liberating when you can touch each one of those things and say, oh, that's how it is, so I shouldn't try to hold on to that. And then the last one is the positive one, which is just that only what I do will continue. Only my actions go forward. And so we try to put all our love and care into our actions. But I came up with more. I liked to add the idea that I'm of the nature to make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I can't see everything. I can't control everything. And unexpected things are of the nature to happen to me. And also other people are of the nature to cause me to suffer. That was a very hard one to appreciate. I think it's other people who often make us suffer the most when they accidentally, when we're very close to them, they touch some wound inside of us. Or we have an expectation of them and they can't meet it. Like you have the expectation, I had the expectation of my doctor that they will miraculously cure me. And then they can't do that. I get very angry. Instead of feeling, and then later I was able to look at that and I said, wow, imagine without any medicine at all, then I would be very ill. And so I changed that around, changed that back into gratitude. And I also appreciate how difficult it is for doctors to figure out. They have to do a lot of science to discover what the roots, what the causes and conditions of your suffering in the body is. But they're not perfect at that. And so I looked at that too and I said to myself, oh, that is not a good thing. That is not a solid thing to take refuge in. I can't take refuge in medicine or doctors or the healthcare. I have to take refuge in something more solid, which is this kind of practice of appreciating life as it is and making peace with suffering that I have to experience, making peace with the painful feelings that I have to experience, making peace with the people that I live with that are not perfect, and with myself also not perfect, that I give myself, permission to make mistakes. Perhaps I can listen to one sound of the bell and then I think the time's up after that, but I will say just closing. So, dear brothers and sisters, thank you so much for listening and sharing this space with us, giving us your attention, and generating mindfulness, listening. I hope we can practice well to really generate some of that space. And our sister reminded us about the noble silence practice and creating that space to have for all of our feelings. And for our monastic community, we can use that and our core practices to come close to each other and be solid for the summer retreat, and for our lay friends, and for also our lay core community that's living here. We have a wonderful lay core community that live right here in the monastery. So we come close to have that strength together, rely on each other, and offer that space to the people that come. And for those who are coming to visit us for the day, we hope you can take this practice back too and enjoy some of the miracles of summertime with your family or with friends, and just keep our practice healthy and enjoy being together. Okay, thank you so much.